we elevate that to the national level in hopes that that's going to inspire our people to really fight together, because we're getting attacked, right? And we need a united front of parents, students, teachers, administrators in the room in the same fight for education for our children. So we've been doing a lot of that work together under this framework of the schools that all our children deserve, right? So we're doing charter school accountability, we're doing sustainable community schools, we're doing positive school discipline work, we're doing work around equity and funding, and all of that really is fighting for the very basic narrative that in the 21st century, all children should be getting a 21st century education, regardless of race, class, zip code.
Right? Now, if you look at the demographics of Holyoke a little bit, almost 50% of the population in Holyoke is Latino now. And almost 75% of the student population is Latino. Less than 5% of the student population, 5% of the teacher population is Latino or people of color, right? 80% of the students that go to school are impoverished and are eligible for low income or subsidized food, right? So all of a sudden, we're now being blamed, right, for the underperforming, right? They're blaming us as a community, teachers not doing their jobs, lack of parental involvement. How do we deal with that? The best way we know how is to community organize. And so what we did was, which was very challenging, was we said, how do we, you're blaming the Latino community, poverty's not an excuse, right? MCAS, discriminatory testing, is not an excuse. So you got a reaction, and the reaction was to get community groups down in the lower wards of Holyoke to come out and to protest and rally. And we had student walkouts, we had community forums, we used public media in that process, and we played the game of public shaming, which we did. It's an election year, and that's a major issue for us. And we've gotten some statewide attention and publicity to do that. And we've done it in a way where we have not allowed for the public political sentiment, that old Holyoke, to control us. We took control of our own situation, and we've been effective so far. On April 27th, there's going to be a major public hearing in Holyoke. And we are rallying up a group of people, grassroots. We've been knocking on doors. We've been doing social media. And we're hoping to get at least 500 people there. And we're welcoming some of our allies from Boston to come down. Anybody that you know to be there, because they're also anti-union and they're busting up unions. We want to take control of our schools, and we plan on doing that as a community.
Thank you.
Very quickly, things started to change. The next issue is about tenure and our tenure rights being attacked. The issue after that was about the road forward on 2015. And I know you can't read the small print, but let me read you the topics listed. Fight for a living wage, expand pre-K ed, ensure fairness and equity, demand quality health care, defend collective bargaining, protect tenure and due process, hold charter schools accountable, secure a dignified retirement for all, stop privatization of public ed, end excessive testing of our students, and keep higher ed affordable and accessible. All of those topics. Within a very short time, here we have our governor. He has no respect for you or your profession. Fight back. And our governor invited some teachers to, there were teachers attending an event at the mansion, at his mansion, I guess. And one of them wore this button, respect public education, it works. And was asked to remove it. That was fantastic for our members by way of mobilization. Remember to take advantage of the mistakes of your enemies. We have probably given out hundreds of thousands of these buttons ever since. It's the easiest and simplest thing that could have happened to us. I'll leave some for you.
5,000 cuts, great Journey for Justice paper. 4,000 public schools have closed since 2008. But I want to remind everyone that, yes, they are hitting us, in big ways, but we still own the map. 98,000 What's that stand for? That's the number of public schools in the United States. 6,700. That's the number of charter schools. We own the map. We still do. 54 million. That's the number of kids enrolled in K-12 education in the United States. 2.9 million is the number that are enrolled in charter schools. 545 billion is the amount of money that we spend on K-12 education in public schools. $21 billion is now going from our public school system into the charter system. $21 billion now. All right, go to the next slide. In order to do this, they created this structure. They have big billionaire foundations in each one, and they kind of take a
Schools was formalized about 18 months ago as a result of a need to strengthen and unify this education work. To end the state control of the Newark, New Jersey public schools. We've been under state control since 1995. We wanted to oppose the current school superintendent, the current governor, and bring statewide and national attention to the crisis in public education, specifically in Newark, but generally in the country. The alliance is composed of approximately 15 members, with about 8 of the organizations being active and consistently working together. We have general meetings where there's a representative from each organization. We have a temporary steering committee, and we have a research arm. The members are from the community, education. I just introduced you to them. And then there's a couple of other labor unions. SEIU sits at the table. Local 3 sits at the table. Of us. And some of the things that we've done, we have spoken at board meetings, shut down board meetings, testified in front of at Trenton. We've had rallies in Trenton. We've gone to Washington to meet with the United States Department of Education senior officials. And then, and even with all of that, I have a saying about the young shall lead the way. And so our students have slept in twice. Okay, twice. One they did overnight. The other they did for 3 days. And 3 nights on the floor in the superintendent's office, demanding that she meet with them. And it took her 4 days, to decide to meet with them. We've met with the commissioner. That the first sitting that they did resulted in us being able to meet the commissioner, because they stayed in overnight. And they said, we're not coming out till we meet with the commissioner of education. We are loosely organized, and we're trying to be more formalized. And so we want to thank Philadelphia, because we are taking on one of your best practices as a structure, and we're applying that over to what we're doing. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, folks. All we have to do is share what we're doing amongst each other, and the things that work for in one group can work someplace else, just with those little minor, this is my neighborhood, and I need to do it this way. And how can we nationalize our local fight? Well, one of the things that we can do is between the national organizations and the local organizations, that we truly collaborate, we communicate, we share our best practices, whatever they may be. And then the local actions and the next step that our city is going to take. Our city, Newark, New Jersey, we're going to continue to shut down. We're going to continue to rally. We're going to continue to allow our students the opportunity to show us. You know, I kept hearing you all talk about the students, but let's not be hypocritical. The students have their own minds, and you have to be willing to allow them to express that. Yes. Whether you like what they say or not. And
we have separate unequal schools in Camden, New Jersey, especially. So we take the approach of all states should organize a class action suit with the surrounding cities, and then we'll make that a civil rights, human rights, and civil rights on separate unequal schools. And then the I'm trying to look at our notes here. The local, I'm sideways. The local, oh, this is a big thing. Yeah. The local, we have to go after those who are opposing public education.
Local, nationally that way. And the last thing I just want to say is that if we need a national marketing campaign, the same way McDonald's gets up and tries to get that message to our children about you need to come and buy my food. We need to set up a similar national marketing campaign to save our public schools.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.